Hey guys, this is David with Max and Fix here with another video. Today we're going to touch on the MacBook Pros that Apple had just done an event for. They did an event for a lot more than that, but honestly it's the MacBook Pros that really stole the show. Alright, but before we get talking about it, don't forget to like, to comment, subscribe, tell us what you like about our channel or about what you'd like to see in the comments, or tell us something that maybe you don't like, maybe we could do better. Honestly, all feedback is great feedback, because honestly, we're doing this for you. You are going to be the one watching, all right? At the end of the day, it's all said and fun, but we want to be sure that we, get you something that you enjoy watching, all right? With that being said, Apple had their October event. I believe it was October 15th. I believe it was October 15th or October 18th, one of them. And it seems as if Apple released 5 different MacBooks. I mean, at the very basics, they released a 14-inch and a 16-inch. The 14-inch is new. The 14-inch is new to Apple. They haven't done 14 inches before. And on the 14 inches, they definitely gave us 2 tiers to choose from. All right. Now, with these MacBooks, you do get Apple's M1 Pro chip on there. All right. It does come with some excellent performance. Again, like I said, there's 2 tiers. It comes in 2 colors. You have silver and space gray. Nothing too extraordinary there. Those are colors that we're used to already. Again, they both come with the M1 Pro chip. Now, one tier has 8-core CPU, while the other has a 10-core CPU. When we're talking about cores, we're just talking about how they've mastered the efficiency of the type of core that we're talking about. In this one, we have an 8-core CPU and a 10-core CPU. That more so talks about, for those who don't know, for those who this might sound foreign to, that talks nothing more than how fast these devices get to perform tasks. Okay, so that also includes your web surfing, going through different programs, creating spreadsheets. It talks about how fast the computer gets to think for you. All right, and then going down to that next spec, we have we have a 14-core GPU, sorry, and a 16-core GPU. Again, we have 2 different core numbers here, but this time we're talking about the graphics. For folks who work on their MacBook, this is something that will spark interest in their conversation. It's something that they're looking for. But while this is supposed to be their pro chip and this has the specs that it has, this is not the be-all end-all, all right? Because Apple definitely went ahead and did some wonderful things. There's been a lot of feedback saying that a lot of the things that were promised were things that they were delivered on. So congrats to Apple on that. Just gonna pause right here and say that we're all excited. We're all still talking about it. Moving further along, we do have 16 gigabytes of unified memory, and then there is 2 storage options for the 14-inch. We have a 512 gigabyte storage, and then we have a 1 terabyte storage option. All right. So with heavier workloads, with more abilities and capabilities that these MacBooks have, honestly, the space might be warranted. Moving on a lot from here, the specs don't vary that much between the 2 tiers of the 14-inch. We move on to say that they both have 16-core neural engines. That talks to the machine learning and the deep learning algorithms that takes place inside of these MacBooks. All right. We also have a 14-inch liquid Retina XDR display. All that that gives us that plays into what we look at. It definitely maximizes the efficiency of the pixels. All right. So if you're looking for a beautiful picture, this is something that they try or that they are delivering on. And then moving on, one of the greatest points about this MacBook, about the MacBooks that came out, is the fact that they brought back the ports. All right, we got 3 Thunderbolt 4 ports, so that's your Thunderbolt port, or those are your ports that are used already, those are the ports that you're already accustomed to using when charging your MacBooks. All right, they've also put in our HDMI port back. so that, you know, you can do things like, you know, present from your MacBook, you know, without having to do some extra jazz work, you know. We also have an SDXC card slot, and Apple brought MagSafe back to the MacBooks. So we're all very excited about that. One thing that these MacBooks don't have that past MacBooks did is the touch bar. So we've been saying rest in peace to the touch bar. The touch bar is no longer with us for these released MacBooks. However, you still have Touch ID as a biometric option for your MacBook. There's not any Face ID, but you do have your Touch ID with the Magic Keyboard. All right. We got a Force Touch trackpad, and then we have power adapters. Now, this is a difference between the two tiers. On one tier, on the lower end, we have 64-watt USB-C power adapter, and then on the next tier up, we have a 96-watt USB-C power adapter. All right, I'm gonna pause here just to let you know, we at Max and Fix, what we've started doing recently, when things like this happen, we understand that there's a huge buzz around getting, you know, the latest and the most current devices out there. You guys want the performance, y'all want the best of the best. Y'all want to say that what you do is done efficiently, and you guys go after, you know, what's been released, because this is that. With that being said, guys, you know, let's keep in mind that we do enjoy the plan that we live on, where we do enjoy these products. Go ahead and trade in your device. This does make sure that we cut down on e-waste. You know, you can do it through Apple, but Max and Fix also plays a part in trying to reduce e-waste. We do trade-ins. If you're looking to let go of an older device and getting a new one, we can definitely facilitate that. Check out our trade-in page on our website. It's there for you. It's a calculator. You know, everything is there. 3 easy steps. All right. If there's anything else, don't worry. We've got you. We'll talk to you. We'll make it work. We'll make it happen. We just want to know that we're doing our part and helping you do yours. All right. Now, if these MacBooks go anything like maybe the iMacs have been going, or maybe some of the phones have been going, the delivery on these might be a little bit, we all know that there's a shortage with the chips and whatnot, and we've seen a lot of people impacted. But I mean, that just goes to show you, like, these are in high demand. People are purchasing these items, and they're purchasing great items. I mean, it's not a shock that we're waiting. You know, what does it say? 3 and 4 weeks for these products. I mean, come on now. No one's gonna wait for the efficiency. We want what this offers, and we want it now. So do keep in mind that if you do buy these products, that you might run into a little bit of wait, but the wait is definitely worth it because of what's coming to you. All right, guys. Inside of the box, you will get a 14-inch MacBook Pro. You will get the USB-C MagSafe 3 cable. It's 2 meters long. And you also get the USB-C power adapter. All right. Just talking off of what Apple said about the M1 Pro chips. M1 Pro delivers game-changing performance with amazing battery life. It features up to a 10 CPU core and 16 GPU cores, as well as 16-core neural engine and a powerful media engine that can play as many as 4 streams of 8K video. Delivering 200 gigabytes of memory bandwidth, M1 Pro can be configured with up to 32 gigabytes of unified memory to handle complex professional workflows. Now, honestly, that sounded like it was as good as it's gonna get, right? No. Because then we have the Apple M1 Max, all right? Now, before we tap into that, that's only offered on the 16-inch. Before we go and talk about that, let's see what Apple says about it. With Apple M1 Max, when you need the highest level performance ever in a MacBook, this is what Apple says about the Apple M1 Max. When you need the highest level performance ever in a Mac notebook, there's M1 Max. It allows you to max out the performance of MacBook Pro with double the GPU core count and memory bandwidth of M1 Pro, and a more powerful up to 5 streams of 8K video. You can configure M1 Max with up to 64 gigabytes of unified memory, enabling your MacBook Pro to work faster and handle massive files with ease. I don't know, honestly, that's pretty max. And I'm only saying that because I lack a better word. But it sounds like they did the thing on that. It definitely looks like they were looking out for the professionals, for those who work and live and breathe by their MacBook Pros. People are already doing that without the release of this technology. So I'm pretty sure that there are tons of people who've been excited and waiting for this, and it will not go to waste and it will not go unrecognized. All right, so let's move on to the 16-inch. Now the 16-inch, actually before we talk about the 16-inch, notice I said that the 14-inch seems to have had two tiers of options. Well, this 16-inch MacBook Pro comes with 3 tiers. 2 offers the M1 Pro, and then the 3rd offers the M1 Max. There's a lot of specs here, guys. Let's talk about first the 16-inch and the M1 Pro chips. All right, both of those tiers come with a 10-core CPU, a 16-core GPU, and 16 gigabytes of unified memory, and then 512 gigabytes of storage and 1 terabyte of storage, respectively. All right. We move down to a 16 neural engine, all right, and a 16-inch Liquid Retina XDR display, all right. Now, just jumping back a little bit where we talked about the CPU, GPU, and storages, with the M1 Max, we do see that they have the same amount of CPU cores as the M1 Pros. But we do, like they said, have double the GPU cores for the M1 Max at 32, all right? And double the unified memory at 32 gigabytes, all right? Now, the space size for this M1 Max comes at a 1 terabyte, and I believe that's the only storage option that you do get with that M1 Max, which is perfectly fine. Who's gonna turn on a terabyte? And then once you move beyond that, the specs start to fall in line with each other, all right? So, once we pass the CPU, the GPU, the unified memory, and the storage, those specs, they start to fall in line with each other. You can tell that they start to become a family. You got a 16-core neural engine. All right, we have the 16-inch Liquid Retina display, the 3 Thunderbolt 4 ports, the HDMI port, the SDXC card slot, the MagSafe 3 port. Also, again, the Touch ID on the Magic Keyboard, the Force Touch keypad, and 140 watts USB-C power adapter. All right, guys, I mean, when you think about what they've put into these MacBooks, man, we're excited. I mean, when you look at the M1 Pro and the M1 Max, I mean, we got up to 2.5 times faster graphics performance on the M1 Pro. All right, and 200 gigabytes of memory bandwidth, supports 2 external displays. Now the M1 Max, we got 4 times faster graphics performance, 400 gigabytes of memory bandwidth, and supports 4 external displays. Let me tell you something, that M1 Max is going to be a force to reckon with. If you cannot handle heat, get out the kitchen, because let me tell you something, that M1 Max is bringing the heat. Speaking of which, I believe with these releases, they increase the efficiency of the fans inside of these notebooks. So, I mean, we also have that going for you guys. How many times have you heard your MacBook whirring? You didn't need, not when you didn't need to. Obviously, you were putting it to work. But, I mean, with everything that they put into the M1 Pro and everything they put into the M1 Max, they went ahead and made sure that they did right by everyone, by the consumers, by making sure that these devices can stay cooler longer and still take on the workload that we are going to be pushing on it. So good job, Apple. Once we get one of these in here, I can't wait to do an unboxing. I can't wait to play with it. I'll have more to talk about other than what I am just remembering from the Apple event. It's still very exciting. Everyone's here. Everyone's still talking about it. But more than anything, we are more ready to put our fingertips to that notebook. All right, guys. So I want you guys to stay tuned. Stay with us, you guys. Let me know what I missed. Let me know what I need to talk on. All right. I'm very excited to be doing this. I'm learning a lot, and I love to get the feedback. Y'all have been giving awesome support. Please continue to like Please continue to subscribe. Please continue to comment on this video and on our channel. We love the feedback, all right? And man, I just want to continue to bring you guys energy. I want to bring you guys the energy. I can do that as long as I know what energy you guys love. Hopefully you guys liked some of the details of this video. If I didn't touch on anything, again, let me know. All right, I'm here for you just like you here for me. All right, guys. I want to thank you for joining us at Max and Fix today. Again, my name is David. Tune in next time. Keep a lookout for our and maybe we can talk a little bit more about some of the things that we got to play around with. All right, guys. Sound off. I'm signing out. Bye.